Okay, welcome back. It's me, Redknight, again here at Adventure Games, sponsored by DX. You're playing more Chrono Cross. Uh, it's been a while. Um, well, it's been a hectic, what, 2 weeks, maybe even 3 weeks at this point. I've forgotten most of what happened the last time I was actually playing, and just completely lost. I don't even know. Um, well, we made it to Chronopolis. We're getting to the meat of the story lore, I guess. Exposition, I don't know what you want to call it. Either way, we're finally nearing the end of this game. We're hoping to finish it soon. Uh, well, I've been absent for the past, what, couple weeks for... I don't even know what floor I went to, whatever. For, well, personal reasons. Gotta... I've talked about it before, but I've been working on a project. Well, I say it's a project, but it's more of me trying to get things back together. I got a new job, so things, even coming up here, has been difficult, to say the least. So that's that. I know this isn't my normal streaming day, but this is what I have time when I have time to do it, so why not? Moving on, we are in Chronopolis trying to, I guess, figure out mostly the lore of Chrono Cross here, between the events of Chrono Cross, I guess Chrono Trigger. We learned what last time this entire archipelago was completely fake, falsified, created by the people here at Chronopolis. And the people, even at Chronopolis, are the citizens of the El Nido archipelago. It's very confusing. So confusing. Anyway, we're here in his room here, which has a record of fate, which is broken open, I guess? Whatever you want to call it. But anyway, two worlds that are so close and yet so far in nature exist in different dimensions. Under the surveillance of the main computer of Chronopolis, Fate, in other words, Fate, has always been observing the two parallel worlds and guiding them. Fate has been manipulating the world of El Nido in order to avoid any major change to the history it knows. If an event on El Nido influences the main continent, the year 2400, in which Fate exists, would change. This paradox could potentially lead to great disaster. The records of Fate's terminals, collect data from all around the world and input guidance directly into the minds of its users. In this discreet way, Fate is able to control the lives of people without them knowing. Guided by Fate, the people of El Nido lead a harmonious life. In a sense, they are nothing more than puppets of Fate. An instruction to the young girl in Arnie 01 is to give up going to the main continent as a poet. An instruction to the man in Arnie 02 is to give up becoming a fisherman. A plan to avoid any point of contact with the main continent so as not to affect history. However, ever since the formation of the Dead Sea 10 years ago, Fate has been unable to intervene directly with World 01. The best Fate could do to cross the dimension and receive data through the records of Fate. And with that much difficulty, Fate succeeded in binding Miguel to the Dead Sea as watchmen. So, I guess we're getting to kind of heavier stuff here. Well, I guess heavier if you want to call it that. It's getting to the crux, I guess, of the story here, where the idea of somebody's fate controlling them. The idea of fate being in control everything goes to a system. It is an interesting concept, even in reality, in real life, because, I mean, in the end, are we victims to our own fate? Are we to have a predetermined... Oh, I was confused why it was tagging. Are we to have a predetermined course of action for our lives? Is there really something in place like that? Or I'm gonna try and actually kill this guy with Sprig just to get a transformation proc, whatever you want to call it. I guess it does kind of just boil down to whether or not you believe that there is a system of events that leads to where you are now. I mean, it is kind of even tough to talk about, because what do you even say about it? How, the question is, do you have a say about it? It brings up the question of whether or not our choices are really our choices. Did you consciously, for example, get up this morning and have breakfast? Or was that something predetermined to happen? Was that something controlled by fate, the fates, I suppose? It's something even difficult to even, like... Hold on a second. Something just difficult to contemplate about, or just theorize about, because who is to say? Who is to say that it's not predetermined that at, let's say, 6:30 p.m. event X is going to happen, and there's nothing that you can do about it? This fight is just lasting so long because I'm trying to get a transformation, unfortunately. I guess it, again, does boil down to whether or not you believe that something is predetermined. My personal beliefs about it? I'm not entirely sure, because I guess at the darkest points in my life, I do wonder whether or not I have control of whether or not this is my choice as to why this is happening. And that can go for anything. Doesn't necessarily have to be something good or something bad. Could be for anything. It has no limitations. You could think, I guess, why... If an event goes on in life, any event at all, I guess, why did this happen? Is it a result of my own actions? Is it a result of... I mean, obviously, it is a result of your own actions. It just, is it predetermined whether or not this would happen to you within your lifetime? Anyway, it all began with a notebook my mother handed me. She told me she found it while cleaning out the closet. This old notebook, covered with mold, was a diary that belonged to my grandfather, who passed away years ago. It contained my grandfather's distant memories. Does this device play back archives? Looks like somebody's memoirs. I wonder if you still remember how we first met and our many adventures. It all seemed like a dream. We ran like the wind during those warm summer days long ago. You were a piece of a star that fell from the sky. I can still relive the memories of those days long past. Just by closing my eyes like such and whispering your name into the desolate night. Kid. Kid. Radical dreamers. Le trésor interdit. What's this? Radical dreamers? What does this mean? There's a conversation with a comrade. Are you ready, kid? I know you're anxious, but stay on your toes. Yeah, likewise, mate. You mess up and I'm leaving you behind. Got that, Serge? Come on, Miguel, let's go. That bastard thing's gonna get what he deserves. Say your prayers. Not that it'll do you any good. This seems to be an archive from a different time than our own. Aside from the two worlds we already know about, other worlds and times may also exist. So that... And that plays into... It looks like they're trying to play into a lot of different theories here. The main computer Chronopolis is called Fate. So Fate is a computer. So a computer is determining the lives of the people here in El Nido. Fate is a large-scale prototype completed in the year 2300. It integrated the old mother brain computer circuitry into a more powerful supercomputer. So not only this Fate contains a massive amount of historical data dating up to the year 2400. So this entire area we're in right now is like a future building that doesn't even exist in the year, I think it's like even 2100 in this timeline at the moment. I don't even know what time it is right now. Timeline it is right now. But it's definitely not 2400, so some way or somehow this supercomputer Fate happens to be here in the year 2100, where the events of Chrono Cross take place. So one way or another, the timeline is messed up. And that timeline being messed up is leading to the events that are happening. Well, lead up to the events that are happening now, because if you remember, Serge was here as a kid 10 years ago. And events happened, and things are not as they should be, let's say. That's what the two parallel worlds divergence began. Humans and reptiles. 65 million years ago, the reptiles who evolved from reptiles had developed their own unique civilization. This was long before the ancestors of humans who evolved from primates had developed their civilization. Excavations carried out in the central continent of Zenan have revealed that the reptiles already had advanced architectural skills in the prehistoric era. But the fall of Lavos to the planet and the resulting ice age this brought about rang the death knell for the reptiles and their civilization. After that, the reptiles slowly disappeared from the stage of history. However, in the distant past, humans could have been defeated in the contest of evolution, and the reptiles could have continued to develop. It is not unthinkable that such a timeline could exist in other dimensions. Everything is purely a problem of possibilities, and the world is only stabilized by the viewpoint of the one who observes it. Lavos, an extraterrestrial life form that is thought to have fallen from the heavens 65 million years ago. On the timeline that existed before history was changed, Lavos was assumed to have slept deep below the planet's surface, sleeping and consuming the planet's energy up until the day of destruction known as the Apocalypse. There are those who believe that 12,000 years ago, the legendary ancient magical civilization known as Zeal came into contact with Lavos. That fateful encounter is said to have resulted in Zeal disappearing from the surface of the planet within the space of a single night. However, the very existence of an ancient civilization of Zeal has never been proven, so up till this day that this theory cannot be confirmed. On some timelines, Lavos appeared on the surface of the planet in the year 1999 and brought the world to ruins. However, a group of young time travelers saw where their planet's history was heading and, through their actions, rewrote time. This very research facility exists on that new timeline. In a world where, thanks to the defeat of Lavos by the young adventurers, the apocalypse never happened. On a temporal vector where human civilization continued to evolve unhampered. All the data on Lavos that was obtained from tracing different parallel world possibilities has proven to be volatile, with fluctuating discrepancies. Perhaps, at this point in time, it is nearly impossible to obtain any true information on Lavos. Like I said previously, this entire area is lore dump. Not even part 1, part 2. So, it's dealing with multi-world theory, where every action you take creates another possible world. One possibility in this case being a world ruled by reptiles and their evolutionary chain. The other one where this world takes place, the evolutionary chain of humans. Then it goes back to Chrono Trigger, which tells the events of Lavos. And the time travelers, again, a nod back to Chrono Trigger, who defeated Lavos and eventually created this structure in the year 2400. DNA, the seeds of life. The human body is made up of 50 to 60 billion cells. Each of these cells contains genes in the form of DNA. These are the fundamental building blocks that exist inside the cell's chromosomes. They store the genetic information that can be passed on from parent to child. The structure of DNA is common throughout all life, throughout all universes. Through DNA recombination, life forms take on differing forms with variable abilities. I guess that's just standard science there. The DNA records in poems and music, adenine and thymine, guanine and cytosine, rhythm and melody. Perhaps the DNA of the ones who make contact with the flame is recomposed by the sound they generate within. I wonder if life forms are just dreaming in an endless flow of music. And it is throwing a lot out there at once. It's throwing out like the concept of whether or not we are conscious beings that exist, or are we just somebody's dream? Like, for example, a brain in a vat. How do we know, for example, whether or not we exist outside? How do we know what reality really is, for instance? What we know as reality is subjective. Because anything you can feel, anything you can touch, you can think it's real, but there becomes the question of whether or not it really is, because it goes into, I guess, hand in hand of whether or not we know of the unknown. What we know of the unknown, rather. Because, like I said, the brain in a vat theory. How do we know we're not a sensory... hold on. You can put... There have been experiments, unethical experiments in the past where scientists have actually made it so the corpse of a dog was stimulated by electrical stimulations and actually began to have brain functions. Well, I don't know if it's actually brain functions, but have reactions, muscle reactions, and the like. In the end, how do we know for certain? And I don't mean to try and give existential crises here, but that's unfortunately just the way this is going. How do we know what we know? I'm in trouble right now. How do we know that we're not just being stimulated by electrical responses? In the end, we really don't. But on the other hand, on the other side, I guess, you can question, how do you know that isn't the case? It's difficult to even think about because there really is no answer. As much as we can think we do have an answer, there's no true way to be sure. And I guess that's what this is kind of bringing up now in this multi-world theory DNA type thing here. And again, like I said, I don't exactly mean to like bring up all this existential type crisis stuff. But unfortunately, that's just where this is heading. But on a lighter note, I guess, this fight is not going well at all. Between being berserk and everything. I should not, even though I want to use Vigora, I should not change to a blue innate. It'll just end up getting me killed again. Especially while Surge is rampaging. Because that happens. And unfortunately, he's taking his turn at like random points, and it's not doing me any favors. He'll just defend. Hopefully he gets out of his state soon. Or at least he's attacking the enemy this time. I have to physically attack, there's no real choice here. And again, at least he's attacking the enemy. Black hole. Black hole. Let's use that. But anyway, on a lighter note, I did talk, I guess I don't really like to talk about myself, but I guess I'll talk about myself here. Did get a new job. Unfortunately, well, I don't want to say unfortunately, it's a decent job. It's unfortunately, again, not my preferred profession. It's not for the what I went to school for, unfortunately. That did not happen for years. And from where I was, it was time to move on. Times have been getting rougher, so I had to make a move. And I gotta say, change is rough. I know everybody takes a different approach to change and all. And change is never gonna be easy. That's just the things. It's just how it's gonna be. Nobody's gonna be able to deal with it too well. It's gonna be a change. Change in routes, a change in actions, change in anything. For myself personally, I've been definitely trying to change myself this year. Trying to better myself, let's say. And it is not easy. And if anybody says it's easy, they're lying. Because I don't want to say every day is a struggle, but because it's not. Every day is different. Every day is moving, I guess. And unfortunately, for me, for the new job comes new stress. And I'm not handling that stress well. But like with change, everybody handles stress differently, so if something that's stressful for me is going to be completely different for somebody else. But anyway, moving on here while we're going. The life forms on this planet developed as single-celled microorganisms to protozoans. And then from fish to amphibians, from reptiles to mammals, and eventually to humans. Beginning with a cerebral neocortex, which only exists in higher mammals, the arthropod brain enlarged at an accelerating pace until it became the human brain we know. Could the reason for the abnormal development of the human brain be the biological contamination caused by Lavos? That would mean that humans are really a heterogeneous life form, or foreign matter, as far as the planet is concerned. Humans are a sudden mutation caused by the contact with Lavos, an alien life form that fell from this planet from space. That is why humans are, biologically speaking, unbalanced and half-finished. Internally, inconsistent and disconnected, the human existence is plagued by contradictions. An incomplete species, torn between love and hatred, whose very being is self-contradictory. From the planet's viewpoint, humans are just destroyers and its cursed, yet perhaps pathetic blight on the world. We control human emotions by using neurotransmitters. That means by manipulating the nerve transmitters inside their brains, it's possible to even control the feelings and even personalities of humans. Fate uses records of fate to connect directly with the brains of humans with whom they come into contact. Fate is not only imprints what actions the humans should take into their brains, but also rewrites their personalities and feelings. Memory scanning and rewriting is not that a difficult thing. As a matter of fact, it is possible to simulate the thoughts and feelings of each individual. These are all just electric signals that flow around the circuitry of the brain, after all. The vessels of flesh can be reproduced through cloning, and the soul stored within these fleshly vessels can be simulated as well. Thus, one could even go so far to say death itself no longer exists. Of course, the expiration of an individual being, as variation within the species, still occurs. Overall, we can reverse the old maxim and say that where there is no death, there will be life. Let's just study all this really quick. Model of a lower animal brain. Model of brain evolution. So a small brain to a slightly larger brain. Model of brain behavior. I guess the pulsating just symbolizes dots occurring and a cross-section of the brain. Model of brain analysis, yeah, a cross-section of the brain. So even right there in the story points, I was mentioning it. Electrical signals simulating individuals' thoughts. Even the story's going into that because it is something that has occurred in human history and somehow finds its place into this game here, which you really wouldn't expect it. Like I said probably long ago during the first couple streams that this game was just a little messed up in a way. Maybe in a good way, I don't know. We've already gone through this last time, but I should not have talked to this guy because he has long-winded text. Oh, sorry, I just got off of work, so I'm a little tired, but still. Yeah, like, where was I going with this? Oh yeah, like, how do we know whether or not we are real? How do we know we're not just a brain in a vat? There is a theory on that, but I don't know it offhand, fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know. Still. Again, all being said, like, we don't have any way to know. And we won't know until the day that we do expire, if that even, because how do we know if there's anything after life, I guess. I don't want to be here yet. There is one more room we have to go to, I believe. Um, I would do one more quick look around this spot here, and then we'll head to the 4th floor. Yeah, I don't think there's any other doors. That doorway to the right just leads to a staircase, so we should be fine at this point. Which, like I said, brings into question whether there is an afterlife, if there is anything after life. Who is to say? Like, let me go to the base before really quick. That's the one room we haven't been to, so we gotta do something beforehand. Who is to say if religion, for example, if anybody is right, there may not be an answer. There may be an answer, or there may not be an answer. And I hate to even bring up religion, because that in itself can be a touchy subject. With some groups of people, or just some people in general. Some people do think religion is a cult. Which it very well could be, for all we know. But I guess there may be a time in future history that we do know all the answers. Whether or not it'll be in our lifetime, I personally don't believe it would be, but there's always a chance. There's always a chance for anything to happen. I don't believe anything in this life is predetermined. I do believe that you make up your own your actions make up your life. And as much as there may be a fate, I don't believe that there truly is fate. As if somebody is fated to be one way or another, because people can change. Whether or not it's for the better, it's subjective. But people do have unlimited potential to change, and I don't believe that there is one outlined path for a person. That being said, I did say your actions make up your choices in life make up where you are today. I know for a fact myself, unfortunately, has made very poor decisions up to this day. Well, I don't want to say this day because I don't think my recent decisions have been very poor. I do feel, though, however, my decisions up till recently haven't been the best. Anyway, we come up to this door that says Project Kid, and it's doing a face and retina scan. And fingerprint scan, DNA scan. Data discrepancy due to aging, person's range, 90% registered arbiter. Access granted. Welcome back, Chrono Trigger. So that's why. Link needed Surge's form. Links must already be inside. Yes, along with the frozen flame. I don't know if I want to go in there yet, because we haven't been in that last door at the top, where the experiment is going on. Which I feel like I've missed something. There must be a button or something or other like that I missed. Unless the experiment is in that room there. It's been a while again, like I said, since I played this. And I've said so many times before, a lot of this went over my head as a kid, because I don't know if I didn't read. I probably didn't read all this, but a lot of the text in this place in particular is heavy. And stuff you really wouldn't give two thoughts about, I guess you can say. You wouldn't really think about the fact that fate controls people, the fact that they're doing experiments where they can actually simulate human emotions and clone people. Of course, this is just a video game, you would think, but a lot of this did happen in real life, so it does kind of blur the line between what is reality and what is fantasy. If you think video games don't exactly make you think, this is, I guess, an exception, or something to prove somebody wrong, because there's just so much in here that even I guess a normal person really wouldn't have a conversation about. Unless it comes up, of course. Which really, when really something like the theory of whether or not we're a brain in a vat come up, other than like an online discussion board. It just is something that's like so out of place, so odd. And I mean, I guess maybe that's what makes me like this game so much. Just like the story and well, I guess the lore, and where everything does fall within the planes of reality. I need to get to that guy, it looks like. So how do I do so? Gotta go back up this way? Unless that door was unlocked, I don't know. We'll see in a moment. Because I can see there's a grate down here. Yeah, the grate is just down. I don't remember there being a staircase in the upper floor, but let's go really quick around just to double check, I suppose. And I guess we'll do a battle while we're at it, because why not? But anyway, when all is said and done, everything here is just theoretical. Which I guess is with everything in life. Well, not everything, but I guess to say there's many theories within everything. The theory of whether or not there is other life on other planets. There is hardly anything in life that is certain. For example, I guess Newton's three laws are something that's a certainty. Everything that has an equal and opposite, everything will have an equal and opposite reaction, stuff like that. But even something like that took a long time, I guess, to actually become what's known as a law of the universe, law of reality. Most of everything else is just a theory. And the reason why it's a theory is just because it's something that has to be proved time and time again without fail. And that, with so many variables that can't occur, it's hard to find something that will occur without fail. There are so many uncertainties in life that I guess nobody can really truly prepare for. Let's go to the third floor here. But anyway, I'm just rambling on at this point about, I guess, why I like this game. But still, I do look through this game as through rose-tinted goggles, you would call them. Can't go through here, huh? Oh. This game does have its flaws, and they are plentiful. Heck, the one I complained about most this game was the rosters, that they just don't get storylines and such. There's only a handful of people that do have a somewhat fleshed out storyline. And I've gone through some of those people, which I guess have the greatest... I don't know if we want to say greatest effect on the story or just greatest effect in general, because a lot of it was dealing with loss and neglect and what else? I'm thinking loss, neglect, and victims of circumstance, I suppose, because there's just a lot of, I guess you can say, bad that goes on throughout the game. The Acacia Dragoons, for example. Wait, is this a button? No. I did not mean to read the report again. Jeez, of course. Well, I guess we can go to the Acacia Dragoons between Karsh and Garai and Dario. Victims of envy and victims of a cursed sword in this case, which really made them victims of their own feelings, because it was something that was the anger, or I guess we're just going to continue on at this point because I can't find out where to go. The anger or jealousy that was just deep down inside them, that just came out from the influence of the Masamune. See if you can thread the needle. You can't. Oh, jeez. I have mentioned it before, but yeah, Surge's damage is ridiculous compared to the others. That's another problem to this game. Again, it just might be because I'm specifically not geared out with the other people, but the difference of damage that he's doing is just like immense. I mean, there are ways to get the others to actually do some damage, but it's not easy. And that's a fact. But anyway, getting through this, we'll just move on with the story. So, really? I am just gonna run away from this one, but I was gonna say we have Project Kid. It makes you question as to why it's called Project Kid when we have a party member named Kid who still hasn't been returned to us, as a matter of fact. Where are we? Is that the frozen flame? Exactly. The hearer of people's prayers, the provider of riches, fame, and power, the bestower of eternal life, the promiser of peace and happiness. This is the essence of what descended from the heavens in the prehistoric age. The living crimson stone, the frozen flame. Lynx? What took you so long? You had me worried. Worried that you might have perished on the way here. Are you alright? It's no use. I put her soul to sleep. I had to remove any potential obstacle from us having this talk. Who are you? What are you after? You still don't know. I am the human incarnation of fate. The living interface of the fate computer system. Or, put simply, I too am fate. What? 14 years ago, on the night of that terrible storm, the cogs began to turn. That night, Wazuki Miguel set out to sea, carrying a sick young child in their boat. That child was you, Serge, after you had been attacked by that panther demon. Your poisoned wounds were beyond the healing abilities of the doctors in Termina or even Goldov. So they set sail to Marbule in order to see the sage there, not knowing how bad the storm would become. Being skilled sailors, the two men were able to survive the storm. But they were blown off course and came ashore on this island, where they decided to seek shelter. At the time, this research center was offline due to the severity of the storm. It only took 10 minutes for the system to power back up, but by then, the flame had found you. Contact with the flame healed your young body, but that was not all. Once the security card system was rebooted, it would only grant access to you, the Arbiter. Can't imagine the trouble this caused for the Fate computer system in achieving its objective. Inside of Fate, there was a standalone circuit that had been kept hidden since the old mother brain generation. That circuit was designed to start a malfunction, or more precisely, a rebellion. Who would have thought that such a small bug, a traitor, could exist inside of Fate? That hidden circuit was based on the initial S-tier model circuit board, with an extra logic added by another scientist. Fate itself did not realize that this circuit was present within the core of its system, or more correctly, the circuit was programmed so that the moment Fate did detect it, it would erase all record of its detection. Dr. Luca Ashtier, unbelievably intelligent and incredibly enthusiastic. You might go so far as to call her a mad scientist. Of course, I don't believe that it was Luca alone that devised this plan. I'm sure the first curator of this research center, a man named Balthazar, had a hand in it too. Fate, bring out the traitor, Prometheus. Affirmative. Ah, you have finally released me. Welcome back. So you're the real Surge. I've waited a long time for you. I'm glad you made it in time. Surge, I beg you, please bring an end to the enmity between Fate and the dragons. Fate, eliminate him. Affirmative. Now eliminating Prometheus. No, you cannot. Surge, please, for the future of mankind. For the future. Idiots. Destruction to those who oppose the goddess of fate. Thanks. Why you? Ha! Come, Surge. Show me what the purpose of your life in this planet is. Teach me what it means to be alive. Alright, so, again, very confusing. And it's only going to get more confusing as we go on. So, I gotta say first off, this music is pretty damn good. But, starting with the name drops there. The first being Luca Ashtier. Luca Ashtier being Luca from the Chrono Trigger game. She is one of the creators of this building here. One of the creators of Chronopolis. Gotta make sure I change the elemental field here, because this is gonna get bad very quickly. Speaking of getting bad, so at some point in time, Luca created Chronopolis too, for one reason or another, alongside a man named Balthazar, who, in Chrono Trigger, was an important character that, I believe was the creator, or the refiner of the Masamune, whom also hailed from the continent of Zeal, or the lost society, I suppose, rather, of Zeal, who time traveled to 1980 or something or other like that. 1600? I forget what the actual dates of that occurred in the game. Regardless, Balthazar helped Luca create Chronopolis, which now has some hand dealing with this fate system, which studies the frozen flame, which is a piece of Lavos. I guess you can say it's a remnant of Lavos. And then Prometheus, which I believe is another one of the Prometheus. Jeez, of course. Trying to think of who that was. If you played through Chrono Trigger completely, you would actually understand this. But I, for example, did not in the past, so I had actually no clue who Prometheus was. I had to actually think about it now, because Prometheus is actually Robo in Chrono Trigger, whose circuitry, I guess, is implanted somewhere in the Fate system here. It was doing something behind the scenes. I guess keeping faith in line or something or other like that, if you want to rationalize it that way. But regardless, this entire area is, again, lore dump and trying to connect the events of Chrono Trigger into Chrono Cross, which, like I said before, works and does not work, because as a standalone game, this game works. And at the same time, it's not meant to be a sequel to Chrono Trigger. So all these lore dumps aren't really doing itself a favor. But regardless, they are there. You can understand them. And it only gets more confusing over time, because definitely the first time playing this, I had no clue what was going on. Definitely the second time playing this, I had no clue what was going on. And so on and so forth. Even now, I still have no clue what's going on, because it is not straightforward in the least bit. But regardless, we're up against, now at near the finale of the game, we're up against Fate itself. We, the protagonists, are fighting against the system of our own fates, trying to change the outcomes, I guess, of our world. The outcomes of the two distorted dimensions. We gotta make sure to stay up on health, definitely, now that we're out of character. Which, I mean, like I was saying before, Fate... Let's be extra safe here. And use this. I guess even the concept, I guess, of fighting fate, combating fate in order to change things has significance. And I guess you really can't say it's unlike real life. Every day we are in a struggle against what is what the outcome for the day is. So I mean, in the end, it makes sense that we're fighting against fate. And fate, which has been at our every turn because fate actually was linked, has led us up to this moment to actually defeat itself. Defeat fate itself. Luckily that fight was easy enough after using a Magna Gate, but still. Now we get into more rough stuff. No, how could you? I, Fate, the goddess of fate, was not meant to die. Huh? Ah, where in blazes am I? Serge, what happened to me? Ah, is that's it? Non, arrête. Ne touchez pas. Do not touch it. Kid, I know the feelings you have inside you. The urge to bring everything to nothing is stronger than your desire to save everyone. You may not want to throw yourself down the cliff of destruction. That is your imperative. But s'il vous plaît, kid, do not drag Surge and the others down into destruction with you. Shut up, you loony. I know what I'm doing. It's too late. There's no turning back now. Fate has fallen. Fate has died. And if you remember, it was just mentioned the enmity between Fate and the dragons. Finally, the time has come. Indeed, the long, endless night shall finally come to an end. Now, for mankind. I shall make you bleed. Feel 1,000,000 years of this planet's agony, pain, and suffering. Terra Tower. He's come back to life again. In the year 2400, during a counter-time experiment, the flame goes out of control. This causes the dimensions to rip apart, resulting in a time crash. Engulfed in an enormous dimensional vortex, Chronopolis was hurled back 10,000 years back in time. Perhaps it was the awakening Lavos who pulled the frozen flame back through time with it. Maybe so that Lavos, who saw the possibility that some young adventurers might destroy it, could create a backup plan. But that ain't all. At the same time, another city from a different dimension's future was also thrown back in time. Dinopolis, the future city of the Reptites, Azala's descendants, who had evolved more closely with the planet. Just as Lavos, in an attempt to save itself, summoned Chronopolis from the distant future. Perhaps our planet beckoned Dinopolis back into the past, maybe as a measure against Chronopolis and humanity. It wasn't the dragon gods who sealed up the frozen flame. It was actually fate who used the flame's power to divide and seal the dragons in slumber. And now that fate has been defeated, the dragons will join together again and start their revenge. Boy. I feared it would come to this. I didn't want to have to fight with you if I could have been avoided. Adieu, Sage. Adieu. Give me a frickin' break. You mean to tell me we were being used all this time? Yeah. Damn. What's done is done, although we may not like it. In any case, we need to make our way into that floating tower. Yes, we cannot just twiddle our thumbs and do nothing. The only problem is... So, we have to find a way up there, right? It's not like we can make the great SS Invincible can make it up there either. There has to be a way. At least our objective is clear. Do not know how, but we must find a way. So, like, whatever happened to Kit after that? Doesn't look like she ever will wake up. Indeed. She is resting at Radius's place. Her spirit seems to be possessed by the past. A powerful item is necessary in order to dispel it. There's no sense in staying here. Come on, mateys, let's shove off. Okay, so didn't mean for that to happen, but sure. A lot happened. More than you can actually more than you would actually think, I guess. So, starting from the beginning of that cutscene, I guess. Kid finally got her goal of going to the frozen flame, and it turns out her end goal was to end everything, end humanity, I guess, in one way or another. And to do that, she needed the frozen flame. I'm just wandering around at this moment. You know what? This is a good time to go here. We haven't been here yet, but this is a secret area. Another secret area. Which, if you play Chrono Trigger, you might recognize it. The Bend of Time. A special battlefield where monsters travel across dimensions together. You can battle monsters that you may have missed. Which, of course, there is a reason for that. If you can't guess, I have the party member in my roster right now. And it should be very easy to guess. But anyway. I should make some stone items really quick, because not everybody is upgraded. Just to have them, I suppose. We do have one stone sword. Denadorite. Let's make one gun. A pick. An axe. Don't have enough raw material. Used up all my humor. We should definitely make some gloves, though. Used up all my humor. Okay. We should end up getting more humor, so we'll be fine, but still. Actually, we can disassemble to make some humor. Don't need a silver sword. What is this stockpiled? Anything? Nothing else stockpiled. Okay. Let's like make a couple gloves just to have them. If I can make a couple, which I can actually. Leave your elements alone. And equipment. Should have made a Denadorite staff. Let me see if I can disassemble one or two more things. Silver earring. What's this? You know what? Just do it. Mithril. I'm looking for humor. Wait, shiny dew? Really? From Sea Charm? Well, let me see if I can make another one. Stone staff. I can't. Don't have enough money now. Yeah, we'll just sell the screwy dress. And a denadorite rod. No. No. Staff. Stone staff. Make sure we equip that as well. I mean, that's, again, just one of my problems. People just don't have their stuff updated all the time, and it's making things harder than they should be. Now we should be fine, but anyway, this place... There we go. It's just like a battle arena, essentially. Where you can fight things that you may have missed. Very useful for the Forget-Me-Not pot. So you don't have to travel all over the place just to fight some creatures, some critters. Anyway, back to as we were. A lot happened within the past, what, 5 minutes? So starting with, I guess, again, Fate died. And Fate was the one who actually sealed away the dragons. Well, again, Kid just didn't want things to be as they are, I guess. Wanted to destroy the world. Why? We don't know that yet. Will we know soon? Probably. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But, at some point, that research lab was sent back 10,000 years by, I was assuming, Lavos, by the power of the Frozen Flame, which was a part of Lavos. At the same time this occurring, an alternate timeline of Dinopolis was also thrown back into time for a similar reason. That reason, well, actually, maybe similar reason, who knows? But the reason being, actually, to eliminate the humans. Why? Because I guess they're a plague. Makes sense. That being said, they came back to whatever time period that they did, and ended up being sealed away into six different forms, which ended up becoming over history known as the Dragon Gods. But in reality, there weren't actually dragon gods, but reptiles evolved in not an evolved form, but an evolutionary chain of the reptiles from Chrono Trigger, who I guess actually succeeded against the humans in that timeline, and became the dominant species. And with that occurring, they were more in tune with the planet. And I guess Fate, not even Fate, but Lavos, I guess, who I guess feared that there would be a time where he may be defeated. Ooh. I don't think I've ever heard this music before in this game. Frog's theme is actually playing. I did not mean to attack a storage, but okay. It must be unique to this area, and it must be a rare chance too, because I've never heard it before. Huh. Interesting. I didn't even know it was in the game. Again, I'm still finding out things about this game that I didn't know up until this day. We're just going through a battle arena here just to get some Forget-Me-Not Pot transformations. We've already fought this guy. And was that Frog's theme, actually, now that I think about it? It definitely was music from Chrono Trigger, but I don't think it was Frog's theme. But it was definitely a theme that was played very often. Regardless, with those dragon gods being split, they had little to no power. Well, not little to no power, because they were still strong, but not strong enough to take out Fate in the end. And with all said and done, when we defeated Fate, we allowed for them to be released from this seal. So it turns out we finally figure out that the dragon gods weren't gods at all, but rather they were Azala's descendants, which Azala was, I guess, the Queen of Dynapolis in 6500 BC, but they came back in time as the one entity that we saw in the cutscene finally reformed, as well as Terra Tower, which the Sky Dragon Isle transformed into. I guess it must have been sealed away up until this point, as well as with the dragons. And then we have... what else? I don't even know. Because a lot happened within 5 minutes of text. I guess we're all kind of caught up. We have... oh, we have, Harl, who said she didn't want to fight us for some reason. I still don't know exactly what that means with Harl. We knew for a fact she followed Lynx, and Lynx turned out to be Fate. So she does have something to do with Fate, Lavos, and the dragons in this case. What exactly, I'm not sure, but maybe we'll figure it out as we go through. Again, just going through these tries for some transformations, because we can. Yeah, well, there is a kind of a reason for it. I am going to go through it just because why not? There we go. Plus there's a little Easter egg. I guess you could call it Easter egg. Unique fight. That, again, players of Chrono Trigger would recognize. And is this the only time where the battle music can change? It does seem that way. Okay, so we don't have those guys in the air, I don't believe. The Manta race. And if I haven't explained it before, but the thing is, with Sprig and the Forget-Me-Not pot, as long as you kill Sprig, kill the enemy with Sprig with the Forget-Me-Not pot equipped, you'll get the transformation. Should not have to worry about it, because without the Forget-Me-Not pot, it's a chance, and again, it's just better to wait until you actually get the Forget-Me-Not pot to work on this. Plus, it gives me a little bit of a chance to, I guess, explain what's going on with the story a little bit, and decompress after that huge lore dump that we just went through. Plus, it gives me a chance to use Pip a little bit more to get her to transform. Because again, that's something that I never really did. I tried. And did I try? But it never actually happened. Almost there. And the only thing is, I'm not sure what star count it requires for Pip to transform yet again. There we go. Now we can actually use an element. And we'll use the Luminaire because I'm not sure if they can steal my stuff or not. So they just set a trap. And I probably said this previously, but I wasn't sure what element Pip is right now. She is white. He is white. You know that by the way his unique element is. Don't know how that managed to happen, but it managed to happen. Still moving on. I guess this is also good for the stats that it is giving me. Which I should, by the way, be trying to be using elements. Not elements, using summons, which in these fights it's not going to happen. They're just too weak. They got down way too quickly. Most of these fights are just to fill out my transformation list, which is really low. Ooh, this music. The Marbule music. I've probably mentioned before, but like some of the better music in the game. Which, I mean, there is so much good music in this game, but some stand out more than the others. That one's nearly down at least. So we'll attack this one instead. Attack that one with Sprig instead. And now that I actually have some proper equipment on these guys, I noticed that the damage is being a little bit better. Still, Surge's damage is quite ridiculous, but that's just what it is. Confused? Nope, not confused. That's good. Use 1 3 attack. Use a second 3 attack. Huh, not weak yet. That's good. There we go. Since we still have a chance, Daffy to work, yeah. We've definitely been getting all of these. Prey Mantis, Prehester. Yeah, we've been getting them, that's good. Again, it is for a reason which I haven't really shown off yet. I skipped by it earlier, much earlier. But let's keep on going with this. Oh, this music. Like, I guess this is really a good showcase of the music in this game too, because it is going all over the place. I'm not complaining. Not the least bit. We might as well put green onto the field. Make ourselves stronger. Like with that crit. Anyway. So what do we have next? There's not much. We're getting closer and closer to the end. Chronopolis was probably the longest. Well, biggest lore dump in the game, obviously. Longest part of the game, maybe. I don't know. But we are nearing the end. There is not much more left to this game. That being said, we're not going to make it to the end soon. Maybe within a couple more streams. Just thinking, like, with how slow I am at this. Unfortunately slow. But we will get there. Use a free fall. I don't need to attack with him. Her. To her. Because obviously our next goal is going to be Terra Tower. We do have to figure out a way to get up there. Which... it's unexpected. To say the least. I mentioned the character was silly before. So that is a hint. In a way, it's a hint. As well as... like, really? This is how you're gonna do this? I mean, whatever works, but... it's like, really? We were just in this place. This guy must have great evasion if that's the case. Crab walking. Shouldn't have attacked twice because I didn't want to kill it, but yeah, I guess that works. There we go. Let's see. Yeah, like I said, it's kind of silly as the way we get up to Terra Tower. And I guess it works, but really? That's how you're doing things? Ah, 2 more enemies we don't have. What do you know? Hopefully we're not spending too long on this. I would say it has to be done, but it doesn't. If you want the bonus fight, yes, it has to be done, but otherwise it doesn't. No, don't double ding. Double ding. So I guess back to... I don't even know what back to. Well, I guess back to as I was talking about myself, the new job. It's different, I can say. I don't need to fight this if I miss twice already, I don't need to fight this. It's different. It's a new environment. Everybody's gonna be resistant to change, so it's not gonna be easy. I know I'm not having an easy time because unfortunately for me, the job involves a lot of driving. And unfortunately for me, I am bad with directions. Not so much driving, I'm a good driver. But if you tell me, even if you tell me how to get to point A to point B, with instructions, I will find a way to mess it up, without a doubt. Heck, I messed up trying to get from here to Denny's. I ended up turning on the highway like 5 times and getting lost. Until I put my GPS on to actually manage to get my way there. But that's just something that's my fault. I don't know if you want to say my fault or... because I didn't really have a desire to go out and just drive to places. That's one of my problems, I suppose. And that's what's causing a problem now. Again, we're trying to fix things. Anybody can learn to do anything. That is the truth. It just depends on how much effort you actually put into doing so. And I know I'm putting in effort to do so. And, another thing, I am bad with names of people and places, so it's making things doubly hard because I don't know the names of anybody I'm working with. Plus, when they tell me to go to place A using the name, I'm like, wait, you mean I gotta go to this place or this place? In this area or this area? Yeah, I end up getting so confused and it's not fun. 'Tis not fun. Sorry, still tired. Got off of work not too long ago at this point, but still tired. Again, driving does take a bit out of you. Plus, it's not all driving, so I am doing other things, so it does end up getting to me. That might be because I have lower stamina, because I haven't been doing much recently, but we'll get there. If I had a piece of advice for anybody, I can say don't let yourself go, because it's not fun once you try and get yourself back into the game. It's definitely not. You end up not hating yourself, but hating trying to get things done, I suppose. I'm out of shape, out of practice. Well, out of practice is for something else. Out of shape, out of stamina. But again, that's a whole different thing. I know I've let myself go in past years because of reasons, and I don't necessarily want to get into those reasons. But reasons are reasons. Everybody does have a reason for something, so I mean, they say to each one's own, so that goes especially double for myself, because but anyway, I don't want to talk about that. It's just not. It's not the time or the place. Anyway. Like I was saying before, everybody's going to be resistant to change. Whether it's a change of habits, change of places, change of routines, it's not going to be easy. Not for anybody. And as they say it's easy, it's not. Heck, for the first week of this new job, I've had insomnia where I just could not get to sleep. I mean, sure, maybe it's resulting of me having such a bad sleep schedule of going to bed at like random times, like 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, even 5 in the morning sometimes. But that was kind of a result of, well, it's a result of two different things. One being my previous job, having to be awake, having to be at an erratic schedule, I guess. Not knowing whether or not I'd be scheduled for a morning shift or scheduled for a night shift. Then it would be because of... Another reason would be because of the family at home. There was a point where I had to... Well, my brother did not have a car. And he worked overnight shift. Well, not really overnight shift, but a shift that brought him to at least midnight, if not 2 in the morning, to actually pick him up, because he didn't have a vehicle of his own. That being said, it fell onto me to actually get him to and from work for the most part. So it ended up me having a erratically messed up schedule for his sake more than anything. Gloop. So, I mean, that didn't help in the long run, in the run of things. I mean, I'm getting over my insomnia a bit. It is happening. I think the first day of work, I slept for 2 hours and still wide awake for the entire day. I mean, sure, I had to rely on coffee to get me through the day, but I managed. I tried to go to sleep even though I should have been exhausted. I couldn't sleep the next day. And I continued on for maybe a week. So, I mean, that goes to, I guess, back to change. Because, like, even your body is resistant to change, whether you like it or not. It's not going to be easy. But in the end, I am fixing my sleep schedule. I'm getting to, I guess, you can even say it's a better sleep schedule because I'm actually waking up in the mornings instead of waking up at like 2 in the afternoon or 1 in the afternoon. Even me waking up the latest was like, 10:30 recently. And that never happened. It was always just like sleep until like 1 in the afternoon and then just go to work. Now I actually have a chance if I wanted to actually do something outside. And I think maybe that was part of the problem, that I didn't really want to do anything because I was trapped. Well, I guess if you want to say trapped, sure. But trapped in like, trapped in the unknown. So I couldn't really schedule myself to do something. And now I do have a little bit more time. And a little bit less time. In one way or the other. However you look at it. I mean, everything is subjective. Maybe I have less time, maybe I have more time. I don't know. It may seem like I have more time when actually I have less, but maybe things are working out better for me. Don't know. Well, I do know, and actually they kind of are. I think technically I have these guys by default, but we'll fight them anyway. Ooh, and speaking of guys by default... there is one unique creature we can get that doesn't even appear here. Let's be using more elements with Pip. But yeah, the new job is going as well as it can. I feel, I guess, out of place a little bit, but knowing myself, that feeling will pass. I mean, even as it is with streaming, I feel out of place. I mean, I'm definitely not the type of person to be in front of a crowd. I'm an introvert. And what do introverts do? Not stream. For the most part. And I know, again, with myself, once I get comfortable with something, it gets easier. For example, even walking into adventure games here. I was just not right, I suppose. I felt out of place. I felt like I didn't belong, I guess, if you want to call it that even. But as the more I do things, the easier it gets, and that's for certain. So in time, everything will be better. I just gotta give it a little bit. I mean, I've probably said this before, but it takes me a while to break out of my shell. Probably a little bit longer than most people, but that is my own problem. Do I want to even call it a problem? I know, I don't know. It's more my own personality. I don't like to say too much, I guess. And that's an issue. In multiple ways. But yes, things are as they are. I'm gonna check out this last column of light really quick, just to see if there's anything else I can get. And then we'll just move on from this place. I think we've been here for just about long enough, because I am running out of things to talk about. Slightly. There's always things to talk about. Oh, yeah, like I was saying, like, I'm an introvert. I'm not really the type of person to be in front of a crowd. That's a fact. However, I do have these extroverted tendencies, which you really wouldn't expect from me. No, I'm not. I have mentioned this before, as a matter of fact. Not too much of an outgoing person. I don't like to be in front of a crowd. I mean, I doubt there's many people who do like to be out in front of a crowd. However, at the same time, I've had times where I like to be the person in charge. I want to be that person who somebody will go to for an issue. I like to lead. I like to lead, not to read. But I have those tendencies which you really wouldn't expect, as introverted as I am. Heck, like I said previously, during my high school days, I'm not somebody who would, like I said, be in front of a crowd. But I was somebody who went in front of a whole crowd of my classmates to pretty much be an idiot for a day. And do I like to talk about it? I don't know. I don't like to talk about it. I don't regret what I did. It did help shape the type of person I am today. It definitely helped me in the long run through the years of high school. I'm glad I did what I did at the time that I did it. At the same time, I look back at it and I think, why did I do such things, such ridiculous things, or such embarrassing in front of a crowd of people? But then at the same time, it's like, I don't even know if they were making fun of me or not. Maybe they were, maybe they weren't, but in the end, like, I did make people laugh, whether they were laughing with me or at me. In the end, it happened. Did I enjoy myself? I did. There is no doubt about that. Would I do it again? I don't think so. I don't know, though. With people who maybe can respect who I am, or who even I was during the high school years, maybe. Even then, that's just a maybe. But again, like, even this goes back to, like, your past molds who you are today. You are molded by your fate, I suppose. Well, not even molded by your fate, but your actions have say in what you are today. And I do actually enjoy what I am as much as I complain about it. I do have more complaints than I do have successes, I guess. I don't even know if that's what you want to call it, but have to call it, but like I have more complaints about everything than I do about being complacent with everything. I don't know if that's even the correct either terminology or the correct way to say it, but as much as I do complain, I am in a decent spot. I do want to get to a better spot than I am now. And that's going to require some stress and some changes. And like I've been saying this entire time, change is not easy. Change will never be easy. And I'm gonna have to just work through it. There is no other path, I suppose you can say. This is something that has to be done for myself, for my own health, and for my own safety, I suppose. I don't even know if it is for my own safety, but my own health, sure, because the situation I'm in right now is not. I cannot even attack, dang it. Oh well. The situation which I won't bring up. I won't say what it is specifically, I'll say. Is toxic to me. It's just not good. And every day it does feel like it's getting worse. And unfortunately, it's with people who are close to me and I can't get away from, so it's unavoidable stress that's compounding day by day. And it is something I need to get away from, but I am making strides to do so with myself getting a full-time job and the likes. And even then, in the back of my mind, did not mean to do that. I am hearing like whether or not I should be where I am right now. And I don't know whether I should be or I should not be. I am having second thoughts about my job. I don't know if I should be having second thoughts about my job or not. Maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. I mean, it is not the profession, well, what I studied for in college. And yes, like, there are a whole lot of people, I'm sure, who don't have a job in their field, and they're stuck somewhere else. That is going to happen. But if you work on it every day, it can still happen. Unfortunately for me, I did not work on it every day. I lost my motivation to do so. And that's where things unfortunately lie for me. Yeah. Again, I don't mean to be like a depressive type thing, but that's just again where things are going with the conversation and such. With my line of thoughts, but still. I'm gonna do a quick thing while I'm here, actually. Is this the right spot now? Wrong house. Just to show it off. I believe this is a world where there's a voodoo. Yes, there's a voodoo. Where we got Mojo. So what if his minions, surgeon his minions in vain? I'm not gonna run. No, he's peace and love in our true hearts. There is a secret here. See if it's a felt an aura of longevity from Ori the cat. Not. You felt a beam of light from Lazery the cat. Received a sacred lickaroo from Licky the cat. Nope, incorrect order. Well, we'll just have to keep going until we get the correct order. There's only so many ways to do this. So it shouldn't be too difficult. So, I mean, I don't know where it tells you in the game to do this, but if you do this, you get a special thing. Of course you do. And it has to be relating to the character in my party. Of course it does. So we'll just keep on going until we actually hit it off. Nope, nothing. Which it will happen. There's, again, only so many ways you can actually do this combination. Nope, nothing. So we keep it going. I know for a fact you only have to hit each one once. It's just, again, correct order. Unless I am missing something, which is entirely possible. So this should be the last order. Nothing, really. I don't remember how to do it, but this is where you get the level 7 tech, rather, for Mojo. I don't remember how to do it. Maybe I'll look it up before next time. But still, we'll just keep on moving on. We're in the other world currently. Yeah, this is just going to be a little bit of side questing before we move on. Where is Stina? I need her in my party for multiple reasons. Because we did try this before, but now I think is actually the time we can do so. With the Chrono... Not the Chrono, the Tears of Love and Hate. Yep, actually there's a cutscene this time. Well, skit. By the great dragon gods! The Sacrium of the Divine Dragon Falls still exists, and it seems functional. It's just as the legends of old said it would be. What a blessing! Utilizing its power, we just may be able to create the Chrono Cross here. Try placing the two pieces of the dragon tear. The tear of hate and the tear of love on these stands. And this, of course, is actually a secret that you have to actually find and figure out yourself. And we receive the game's namesake. And what it actually is, we will show you. Since we have empty slots. Ah, no. Did not mean to do that. And it truly does not matter what position you put this in, but yes. The long-lost element of the 7th color attribute. Levels 8 plus or minus 7. All foes and all allies. Let's do a quick auto-allocate for her. And if you notice, she doesn't actually have a 5th level 5 unique tech. You actually have to find it. Which is unique for the level 5 techs at the very least. Which, there is a hint. That being, if you look at the name of her first one, level 3, is Direa's Shadow. So, we're looking for something that could have a shadow of itself. Something that died, possibly. Or somebody who died. Either way, something died and we gotta take its shadow for ourselves. Where is the Tinkler? The green Tinkler. Don't know if we've actually been through the Poison Hydra Marshes in its entirety, to be honest. But, I mean, there's really nothing to it other than, yeah, it's poisoned. And there's like no life here, aside from these goblins. I'm gonna do a quick save because it's been a while, for sure. I'm not gonna be on for much longer, I don't think. Yeah. But if we head over this way with Stina in our party, maybe not. Could be completely wrong. Maybe I missed the fight. Because there should be a fight there, actually. Oh well. It is what it is at this point. Unless it is in the other world and messed up. Or even if it's over here, because it could be over here too. Nope, nothing. Alright, let's just move on from here. Nothing down there. Tinkler. And I don't know if it's significant. Nope, nothing significant. It might even be in the other world as well. Yeah, it has to be in the other world for that one. Which we are going to be heading to in just a minute. That's nothing, huh? I don't know why it looks like there's something there. Because again, there's a few things we can be doing here now. Just a couple side quests, I mean, nothing major. More stuff that I just glossed over, I suppose. Oh, tired. Still. I guess we'll go this way first. Yes, because I wanted to get the unique creature. That's right. Because there's only one of them in the game, and if you don't have Sprig with the Forget-Me-Not pot, you're most likely not going to actually be able to capture it. Or doppelganger it, whatever you want to call it. And I intentionally avoided it earlier on in the run. Oh, jeez. Hey, at least I get another chance to take out the airframe. Possibly without it killing me. Ah, that's the power of the Chrono Cross, by the way. Every element used now has a sound attributed to it. As long as you have the Chrono Cross equipped, that is. Which that becomes significant relatively soon. I say relatively because it's endgame stuff, and we're close to endgame stuff. Combat. Yeah, there's nothing I really want to double gain, so let's just defend. No, head over to Stina. Maybe she can actually do some work. Or not. Just have Surge finish it off, because that's the easiest way to go about things. Even though he is considered a black element at the moment because of the equipment he has equipped. Got hit by a black elemental attack, I guess, and it got shifted to his weapon. Which again is something I never really understood, and I guess I understand it now all of a sudden. It's what it is. It doesn't really explain too much. The item itself, not the amulet. Where is the... No. Fiddler Crab. Your keepsake. It's not even a Fiddler Crab, but the Fiddler Crab was for opening the Dead Sea. I gotta get this guy to follow me. Without him running into me, hopefully. For now. He'll run into me soon enough. Just want to make sure I'm close enough as well. And we'll just do as we did previously and take the guy out so he blows up. I don't know how they managed to have the first turn, but okay. Okay. And look at that, it's a former boss we're fighting now. These guys should not be a threat, regardless. As long as we get the transformation is all I'm happy about. Oh jeez, great. Don't get to use him. Our strongest character. I do wonder if we can actually transform into the dead head or not. Oh, dead. Yeah, it's dead head. The other ones are dead beasts. The ones that transform in the cutscene to this. Don't succeed, please. Just to be annoying. Really. Jeez. Do I have a revive? You don't have a revive, huh? Guess we're just killing it. Not being able to attack on your own sucks. I guess in most games, Berserk is like the worst status effect. Just the loss of control sucks so much. Stuff like that can happen. And you have no control over it. Might as well use it because it's white. It's like the only white thing I got. That's probably third head just for us. They really didn't kill it? Okay. Sure. Jeez, that thing was tanky. And it was a former boss, so it's like, yeah, it's gonna be. Sure, that's some good stuff. Make sure we heal up Sprig. Because she has to survive. Because we have the White Knight. Which hopefully I just don't kill it with Surge because he just got that 500 damage hit. Simple enough. Didn't even get a chance to attack. And yeah, just fighting that earlier on just doesn't really have much of a... Well, there's the Golden Tiara, which is a reward, I suppose. Which, that does what now? Let's get rid of the Dreamer's Scarf. Magic defense up. That's great, actually. It's less than the Memento pendant, but sure, still good. I want to put a power seal on, make myself even stronger. Because why not? There's, again, just a few more things I want to get done before I actually end this one off. What that is offhand, I'm not even sure. I do know, though. So I know our next stop. Our next stop is to the SS Invincible. On this world, at the very least. The actual gambling ship. And this will be the fruits of our labor here, I suppose, of what we're all the doppelganging stuff we were just doing. But yeah, that's about it. We'll just move on from here. Again, there isn't too much left of the game. That's why I'm just trying to get as much side questing stuff out as possible. While we're here, as a matter of fact, I don't remember if I got... Let me just... If I go this way, it should just happen eventually. Maybe I got it and then I didn't save. But if you talk to this guy... Nope. Gotta keep going in and out. Because he gives us the only of one full revive in the game. There it is, as a matter of fact. Yeah, I must have got it at some point and then just forgot to save, died and forgot to save, because it's a white innate only, so we wouldn't have had it equipped really on anybody else. But up until recently, I had no clue that that element existed. It's just something that happened to I happened to come across the one time. Again, it's like you learn something new every time with this game, because there's just so much to it, and like even like the story is just so confusing, you lose track of it sometimes. And like, it's not a game you can just play once and understand. That's just the gist of things here. But here we are back at the SS Invincible, just again for more side quest stuff, which, we'll show it off, because why not? I mean, there is and isn't much point to it, because we're going to the one place where we haven't been into the area, which is down here, to what's known as the Grand Slam. The ultimate event of events, the Grand Slam. Monsters from all over the world are here to battle it out. You guys want to participate? Yeah, sure. There's no turning back now. So this is the one unique part of the game where I actually like. Our slogan, fight with might and believe the hype. It's time to get it on. Alright, we have a new challenger. Let's see what our new contestant can do. Woohoo! Don't take it too lightly. So, the entire point of this area is it pulls from the creatures that you've already doppelganged. So if you were to go to this spot, like almost immediately from... I'm just deciding on what to take here, because there's some that's just like useless and some that are actually useful. And I kind of don't know which ones will be the useful and useless. But if you were to go here, you would have just a limited roster, and there's next to no way that you would actually win the fights, because your opponent's monsters had increased health and over increased strength. As a matter of fact, I'm not even sure this set of critters. Wait, what element am I? I don't even know. He's red. I don't know. He's red. So from what I know at the very least, let's focus on the gloop. Take him out as soon as possible. And of course he gets a crit. But anyway, if you were to take on this place immediately, you'd be severely disadvantaged, because even like the Cat Burglar, which is a decent pick, is a lower tier pick, considering like one Torminator charge almost killed me. So what I'm gonna have to do with him at the very least, just ensure that my other guys are, make sure I use my elements with him, make him survive for as long as possible, just make use of him before he actually goes down, which it looks like it's happening now. Or he'll survive with 2 health. Because, of course, that's how this game goes sometimes. So we'll take advantage of the Strengthen plus the blue elemental against this guy as soon as possible, because he's definitely the beefiest tank of the party. And unfortunately, the Cat Burglar did get focused down, so nuts to us. But I guess we'll just use what we got and use the Deluge. Try and do as much damage to them as possible here. Anyway, as I was saying, like, I do like that you do get a chance to, like, fight as your enemy, I suppose, because I mean, even like with the doppelganger ability with Sprig, that does happen. It doesn't happen very often in games. This one being the exception, I suppose. Let's play the smart and actually defend out here to recover some stamina. Especially not in a tournament style like this. I mean, yes, it is limited. It's meant to be like a trial and error type thing, considering how outrageously like strong these guys are compared to you. Which, even with the party I have here, I can easily just go down. And I have almost no doubt I might, because I'm not using my strongest for a reason. But yeah, it's meant to be a little bit more drawn out, just from trial and error, but I'm trying to make this just like a one and done type thing. Unfortunately, it looks like that will not be happening this time around. But we'll still try and actually succeed by the skin of our teeth with the 2 health creature at this point. Which I guess that is surprising that I actually survived. So I'm not going to complain. It is what it is. And you do get rewards after each fight. Hey, not bad, but how about some of this? And again, unfortunately, you don't get to see what's in store for you, so you kind of just gotta have to guess what to bring into this fight. I am hopefully, rather, bringing in some decently strong stuff. I think I have a black, blue, and a yellow. Which should be fine. This party should suffice for this next fight at the very least. And then for the final fight, we'll just bring out all the stops and bring our strongest creatures out. Yeah, I think we're going to be pretty good for this one. So, let's start with the gobbledygook. What's your... okay, some more blue stuff. Again, it's going to be a goal to just take the stuff out as quickly as possible. Yeah, like I was saying, like, not many games do things like this, which it is nice to see. Truly is. Heck, not many games make it so you're able to become your enemy in general, so that in itself is nice to see. Just bite him down as much as we can. And unfortunately he doesn't have really too good of elements, but at least he has Dark Mist. At least he has one. Because Hell Soul and Instant Kill is not going to work in this fight. And you know what? That didn't really do too much but Darkness. I don't even know what that does. I do like how this thing moves a little bit though. Just a little slug moving around the stage here. Now, obviously, the Rock Roach is our tank in this, or carry. I like that. Single enemy. Damage. That's all it needs for a description. Just damage. Oof. Like I said, you would have no chance against that with a straight out of the gates part, or doppelgang party, whatever. Plus even how much though. This is one of the stronger of the couple creatures that you have to start with, and he's not doing much of anything at all. So again, it is 100% necessary to actually go around and doppelgang some stuff before you actually try and take this on. As much as it is kind of a waste, I mean, like, you're getting end game creatures to do a mid game type thing. But I mean, it gives you semi-decent rewards. Stamina buff, for example, I believe is pretty good. Either way, we'll see what the rewards are as they come through. Again, simple enough. But for this last one, we'll definitely bring out our best of the best. Because there's no reason not to, because it's the final match. And she cheats. Badly. And the last one's going to be Lagoonate, because he's actually pretty good as well. Actually, let's put the combat in, just because. This is absolutely fine. We should have no problems with this fight. With this party. Yeah, just looking at those health bars, yeah, no. And not gonna have a single problem at all. And we're not even gonna have much of a chance to show off, like, the White Knight's abilities and stuff like that. Or the combat's, well, the combat's, yeah, standard, but White Knight is a unique creature, so it's kinda nice to show that one off. I thought that took it out. It's just an animation. No, we took it out though. Let's see. Sadness, wave, rage, increase. Yeah, that's what makes this thing so good. It just has just all allies, all enemy type stuff. I mean, Hellbound and Hell Soul, I mean, decent one hit kill stuff at a chance, but this stuff specifically is just so much worth actually getting this guy. And fight's over already. we just took the most overpowered stuff we could, so it's what it is. We had a very rough start because I took some weaker stuff, but yeah, it all turned out well in the end. And the Dreamer's Scarf, which is actually really good. I can't believe I lost. No way! Hey, don't go. I want to ask you guys something. Where'd y'all find some super duper monsters? How to come find some more with you? And you can refuse her if you want, but you just have to fight again just to get her in your party. That is, if you wanted her in a party. I mean, it's just another character which has no character development, just to add to the roster just because, but that's what it is. We might as well show it off. She has no significant part in the story, to my not. Well, no significant like side story to herself, to my knowledge, but again, just trying to put as much out there as I possibly can. Okay, well, I think that's going to be as far as I'm going to go for today. It's been a little bit too long. I've got quite a bit accomplished. We got fully through Chronopolis at this point. We got a couple side stuff done. We got the Chrono Cross. Well, I guess 4 is the Chrono Cross, however you want to say it. But yeah, a lot of stuff got done, I would say. We have our goal in sights. We kind of know what we have to do next time, so I guess we're just gonna save up and leave it for next time. So I guess next time we're gonna do a couple more side quests, learn a couple more things about the story of Chrono Cross, and that's gonna be it. Thank you for joining if you did. This has been Redknight here at Adventure Games, playing some more Chrono Cross, sponsored by DX Racer, by the way. We'll see you next time, which might be sooner than we think, because again, I've only been streaming once a week because that's all the time I had. But Tuesday being a day that I never really streamed, I might be able to stream a different day later on in the week. We will see. We might see you later.